So now let us move to the next part. So in this method, we are going to discuss the problem table algorithm method. So the first step will be obtain the hot stream and cold stream temperatures, the shifted temperatures. So the actual temperature minus delta T minimum divided by 2. We subtract for hot streams, add for cold streams. And if our delta T minimum we have assumed as 10 degree Celsius. So this is 180, this is a hot stream. Delta T minimum divided by 2 is 5 degrees. So 160 minus 5 is 55. So you minus for hot stream. Add for cold stream 20 plus 5, 25. 135 plus 5, 140. Similarly, you do for the fourth stream. Your second step, put the temperatures in bracket. Those are repeating values. So like 25 and 25 are repeating. So bracket them. 145, 145 repeating. Put them in bracket. Now once you put them in bracket, we arrange all these temperatures into descending order. So which is the highest temperature? 175. Next will be 145, then 140. Okay, so arrange them in a interval. Why we bracket the duplicate? Because we don't want to write 145, 145 twice, because the delta T will be 0. So there is no point of writing the duplicate numbers. Once you rank the interval temperature, we have to calculate the enthalpies. So the enthalpy value will be, the formula is summation of all the heat capacity flow rate for hot stream minus sum of all for cold stream times the delta T. So first part would be to draw the problem table. So these are all our temperatures that we just now arranged from high to low, and then just draw the lines next to them. Okay, and then this table next to your problem table, write your delta T, summation of hot minus summation of cold heat capacities, and delta H. So now look back in your table. This is 175 to 55. So you have to draw 75 to 55. Because this is a hot stream being cooled, arrow goes. The CP of this stream is 3. Similarly, the second hot stream is from 145 to 25. Draw, write the CP values. Similarly, the cold stream is heated from 20. Draw the line with upward arrow. Similarly, repeat for stream 4. So write all the CP values that are given to you in your table previously. 20, 40, 80, and 36. All right, so once you draw that, we need to write the delta T here. So we have to write the delta T within each region. So first 175 minus 145 is 30. Summation of hot minus summation of cold. How many hot streams do you have in this region between these two lines? There's only one stream, that is your hot stream. The value is 3. So just write it here. Now 30 times 3 is 90. Now in this region, delta T is 145 minus 145. Summation of hot minus cold. So how many hot stream do you have in this region? There is one hot stream, the second hot stream. Summation will be, and there is one cold stream. The CP is 4.5. So 3 plus 1, 4. 4 minus 4.5 will be 0.5. Multiply these two, you get delta H. Now move on to the third one, this region. What is the delta T? 140 minus 85. How many? What is the CP? 3 plus 1, 4. How many cold stream do you have? 1 and 2. Cp 2 plus 4.5. Minus them off, you get negative 2.5. Multiply delta T with Cp, you get enthalpy. Similarly, do for the last two sections. So your problem table is ready. So step 5 is to draw the. So how to draw the cascade? The cascade means the heat has to flow, that has a surplus of heat flow to the lower temperature interval from higher temperature to the low temperature. So the same temperature interval, just now we arrange them in decreasing order. We write those, draw a line. So first we have to, heat has to flow from hot utility to cold utility. So in between, what are the enthalpy that we already have from different process stream? We just write those, what we obtain here, this delta H. Write them here. So now what we assume our hot utility requires using any hot utility. So we start from 0. So when heat flows down, so 0 plus 90 is 90. 90 plus negative 2.5, 87.5. This plus negative 137.5 is negative 50. Plus 60 is 10. Plus negative 30 is negative 20. Now look what is the lowest enthalpy values here from your cascade table. And repeat the second round. So this is minus 50. But you cannot have a minus 50 requirement. We make it as a positive. A minimum hot utility requirement is 50 kilowatt. I repeat the same addition process again. 50 plus 90, 140. 140 plus negative 2.5, 137.5, and so on. So at certain point, you can see in your second round, you see 0 kilowatt. If you don't see 0 kilowatt, means the stream that you have selected for heat pinch are not suitable. You need to go and see other streams and other matching of your stream that gives you pinch point. So once you get 0 kilowatt, this is your term. This is known as your pinch. This is your first value is your hot utility requirement. The last value is your cold utility requirement. So when we do the energy cascade, we know only now 50 kilowatt is required as a hot utility and 30 as the cold utility requirement. Okay. So now once we obtain our pinch point as 85 degrees Celsius, you remember what we had done plus and minus 5 degrees Celsius? We have to add them. For hot stream, we minus off, right? So now we add off the plus 5 degrees. So 85 plus 590. For cold stream, we added plus 5 degrees. So now we'll minus it off. It becomes 85 minus 5, 80 degrees Celsius. All right. So you can see the difference. 90 minus 80 is 10 degrees Celsius. That is our delta T minimum. So next step is to draw the heat exchanger network. So now how to draw the heat exchanger network to see maximum energy recovery. So what we are going to do is, now we are taking the actual temperatures, not the shifted temperature. So these temperatures are directly from your table. We shift the temperature plus 5 minus 5 only until the cascade. Then to the pinch temperature, we add back the temperature that we minus and plus to your pinch temperature. We adjusted it back to our own temperatures. All right. So draw the lines 180 degrees to 60 degrees for your hot stream. Hot stream, this is your cold stream and cold stream. So now draw your pinch lines 90 degrees and 80 degrees for your cold pinch. and write down all your CP values next to these lines. To draw the energy network or heat exchanger network, we have to follow the CP rule. What is the CP rule is no cooling is used above the pinch and no heating is below the pinch. So for that, whenever we draw the heat exchanger, the first heat exchanger near the pinch line, we need to obey these rules. Above the pinch, the CP hot should be less than equal to CP cold. And below the pinch, CP hot should be greater or equal to CP cold, so that we maintain the minimum temperature difference. So I just now here above the pinch, our rule is CP hot should be less than equal to CP cold. So these are the CP values of your streams, for example, and the CP of this is 3, CP of this is 2. Does it obey the rule? CP of hot is 3, CP of cold is 2. Is it hot less than cold? No. But if you draw the heat exchanger with these two streams, you will get your temperature enthalpy curve like this, which is not possible, which you cannot do. The stream cannot give the heat more than it has, right? If it has 80 kilojoules of heat, it cannot give you 90 kilojoules. Okay, so you cannot cross those lines when you draw the, it means something wrong. So you should always obey the rule. So if you draw between 3 and 4, so hot CP is 3, cold is 4. So it obeys the rule. Draw the heat exchanger, then you will see a graph like this, where the delta T minimum is achieved. Okay, so we need to remember this CP rule, and it holds good only for the first heat exchanger that you place near your pinch line. So now how to draw this heat exchanger network? We will draw them separately above the pinch and below the pinch. Okay. So first will be above the pinch. Above the pinch means we are doing from 180 degrees Celsius to 90 degrees Celsius only cooling of the stream, from 150 to 90. Similarly, the cold streams will be from 80 to 135 and 80 to 140. Okay. So write the CP values here and draw this. Write down the enthalpies. So now these enthalpies are not from your table. This enthalpy you have to calculate for above the pinch separately. So above the pinch, we are first cooling from 180 degrees Celsius until the pinch point. That is our 90 degrees Celsius for hot stream. 180 minus 90 is 90. 90 times 3, 270. Similarly here, 150 minus 90 multiplied by 1 is 60. Cold stream, remember you have to take the difference 135 and 80 because 80 is the cold pinch temperature and multiply by the CP values. Similarly, 140 minus 80, that is multiplied by 4.5 gives you 270. Now, how do we exchange the heat above the pinch between the streams? Ruling, CP hot should be less than equal to CP cold. Okay. So now look at your CP values. CP hot 3, CP cold is 2. No, does not. CP hot 3, CP cold 4.5. Yes, it obeys the rule. 1 and 2. Yes, it obeys the rule. 1 and 4.5. Yes, it obeys the rule. It means we have 3 different options how we can plot the first heat exchanger near the pinch line. But how do we select now which one to choose? So we select based on the two streams which gives you maximum energy exchange. That heat exchanger we have to first build near the pinch point. So if you take stream 1 and stream 4, hot and cold, this has enthalpy of 270, this also can give you 270. When you exchange the heat, maximum heat exchange will be 270 kilowatt. But if you select stream 2 and stream 4, maximum exchange will be only 60. Because this can only give you 60, so it will take only 60, right? But then if you choose 2 and 3, maximum again 60. So that's why we select the 270 and 270. So this both stream exchange the heat, so that enthalpy is already used up here. So we draw an heat exchanger here connecting stream 1 and stream 4, and you need to just write here the kilowatt that is exchanging the heat, 270. After you draw your first near the pinch, if you don't obey the rule also okay. So now we have left with only these two streams. Maximum heat it can exchange is only 60. So draw heat exchanger connecting these two streams, 60 kilowatt. It means this stream still has 50 kilowatt left. And this is your cold stream. And cold streams are heated up. So you need to heat this stream to have delta H equals to 0. So I will use a heater of 50 kilowatt to heat this stream. So this is the cold stream, and I use a hot utility of 50 kilowatt, exchange the heat. So I'm using only external heating of 50 kilowatt above the pinch. Okay, we repeat the same process now below the pinch. So here the condition is Cp hot should be greater or equal to Cp cold. Similarly now calculate your enthalpy first. This is hot stream, so 90 minus 60 multiplied by 3, 90 minus 30 multiplied by 1, 80 minus 20 multiplied by 2, 80 minus 80 is 0, so this is 0. So the stream don't have anything to exchange. Cp hot greater or equal to Cp cold. Which stream satisfy the condition? Hot is 3. Okay. So exchange the heat between these two. Maximum you can exchange is only 90. So between stream 1, stream 3, draw the heat exchanger, write 90 kilowatt. So this stream still has 30 kilowatt. Exchange the heat between one hot stream, one cold stream. Maximum it can exchange is only 30. So draw another heat exchanger here, 30 kilowatt. So this stream still left with 30 kilowatt now. And this is a hot stream. Hot stream has to be cooled down. So we use a cooler of 30 kilowatt. Then done. All the energy exchange has been done. Okay. So now if you refer back to our previous composite curve, our hot utility requirement was 50, cold was 30, and we obtained the same here. Cold is 30, hot is. So this is another way how you can verify. So this is you combine above the pinch and below the pinch, and then you can draw your heat exchanger network like this. So it means when you go to your process flow diagram, you need to connect those streams with the heat exchanger. Okay. So now how to find the minimum number of units? The minimum number of units in your heat exchanger network is number of streams. So how many streams we have? We have 4 streams plus number of utilities. We have 2 utilities, one hot, one cold, minus 1. So 4 streams plus 2, 6, 6 minus 1 is 5. So the minimum number of units that we can have in our process is 5. So you can do this another example. Okay, this was in March 2016 final exam. And you can, I think, solve this question by yourself. Okay, you need to first start with the grid diagram, then cascade diagram, obtain your hot pinch, cold pinch, and then minimum hot utility and cold utility requirements. And these also is another way you can verify. It should match with your heat exchanger network. Then we will do the energy network design, above pinch, below the pinch, following the rules. Okay. Network. So that is all for our heat exchanger network design.